God says this, that He will give you the years that the cankerworm has eaten. Now think about it for one moment. That means there's a generation that will come that He's going to give you the years that has been robbed away. If you have lost your parents, your friends, if you lost the people who cared for you, who was there for you, and if you feel in any way or form it was taken away before time, the Bible says that He will give you the years. He will give you the years that the cankerworm has eaten. Think about that for one moment, because that is a promise in the Bible.
Okay, are you ready for the word? Wow! Then please, come on, get ready for an epic time. Welcome, Kirby, up.
This is your Sunday morning Wow Sunday service. You are going to hear a word that will change your life. Get ready, open your heart, open your ears. This word will change your life. It will give you purpose. It will establish you. It will build you up. It will give you your inheritance. Take a seat. Awesome. I just love the testimonies of healing. The healing line, generally it's me, it's Therese. She's very, very anointed. She's seen miracles more than I think most people in a lifetime will ever see. Okay, and it's my wife, who is a very, very powerful prophetic healer. So just get ready for something very unusual. How many of you got into our line and got healed? How many of you got into our line and got healed? You see? So get ready, come very intentionally, trust me. And we'll open the line up today as well. And allow God's presence to touch you. Now, if you are here for the first time, or even if you're here and you've been here many times and you've not experienced God, then the worship that we do here is an invitation for encounter. Just understand that, okay? The worship is the invitation for encounter, because the worship, what it does is you're able to open your heart. Okay, don't worry about who's watching and who's around you. Whether you get all sorts at church. You know that, right? Okay, and I love all sorts. All right, but don't worry about that. When worship starts, your eyes are on Jesus. Is that okay? Right? And I'm telling you, if you come expectancy and you put a demand on the glory, I promise you, your life will change. Okay? And then come up for prayer. Okay? Prayer happens once you've opened your heart. And now this time is a time of the word. Okay? Now what do we do? Because before I teach the word, I want to encourage you, because sometimes as we're growing, as you can see, when we grow, we have new people coming in. And when new people come in, they also bring something that is new. Do you just understand that? Yeah? But you can't, if you are a wow and you've been in the house for long enough, don't get influenced by the new. Yeah. You need to hold on to what you have. Yeah. What is that? Freedom. You got to hold on to your freedom. You got to hold on to your voice. You got to hold on to your heart. You got to hold on to your energy. You got to hold on to your yes and your amen. You understand that? Yeah? And I loved doing the service yesterday. It was awesome. But wow, you were awfully quiet. Now, I don't expect you to get religious at a funeral. I don't. Just because you see me in full garb and my bishops in full garb, my hands are up first, if you notice. My voice is loud first. Okay? It doesn't matter what type of collar I'm wearing and who's around me. Yeah. My service to God and my worship to God is fire always. Yeah. Do you understand that? Yeah. And nothing will intimidate me to take the fire away. Not the new people. Not if you're embarrassed because you brought your father and mother. Not that you're embarrassed if you brought anyone. Okay? Worshiping God is always a joy. Yeah. Do you just understand it? It is always a joy. When I come into the house of God, I come in thinking, believe me when I tell you this, guys, I come here thinking every single day, this is going to be the best day of my life. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again because it's important. I come in through those doors thinking this is going to be the best day of my life. Do you understand that? And that's the demand I put every day when I come into the house of God. I just don't come religiously here. Do you understand that? What would you get? What's the quality of the product you'll get if I come religiously? Oh boy, again it's church. I wake up excited. You understand it? I pick up my word. I pray for you. I come knowing this is going to be the best day of my life because I'll serve you in the best way I can. Do you understand that? Okay? And that's what it means to live for God. And so when you walk through the door, you need to expect that your life will change forever. Okay? And that's how I like to build WOW. So if you're new into this house, there's noise, okay? There's excitement, and there's energy. Come on, WOW, okay? There's noise, there's excitement, there's energy, because we are in the house of God, and it's the joy of all the earth. Okay, now get ready, because I'm not doing tongues. I'm speaking to my house and to my home about the season and how to receive the season. Is that right? Is that good? Okay. So it's important. I started this message yesterday. Obviously, Neil started a series that I need to complete, okay? And this series is about eternity, okay? Because in the 1 hour that we have, I think it's important that you ponder on the eternal things that you have, because eternity is inside of you. You need to be able to think at least for 1 hour in a lifetime of maybe 50, 60, with Pastor Neil's case, 69 years. Prophet Kobe is 63 years. The greatest revivalist, the guy who built, what is it called, City of Zion. He was a very famous guy. I can't remember his name. I wish someone could tell me. Yeah? Yes, but what's the full name? Alexander Dowie. Yes. Come on, Ezra. Moses in the house. He knew exactly what I'm talking about. Alexander Dowie. Alexander Dowie was 63 years. Okay. William Branham was, how old was William Branham? The guy who started the prophetic move. How old was he? He passed when he was in his 50s or something like that. Okay. So all these men of God leaving the earth at a very young age. Okay. The famous lady with the gold dust, what's her name? Ruth Heflin. Yeah, I don't know, sir. Okay, Ruth Heflin passed when she was, I think, in her 60s. Yeah? So we have to understand that men of God, okay, not that you are not a men of God if you're over 60 in the house. Well done to you. But men of God leaving, just understand, Alexander Dowie, who built City of Zion, who started the Pentecostal revival. He started the Pentecostal, that means all the healings, all the miracles. Okay, he had crutches like Cobus van Rensburg all over his church. Okay, 60-something. Check it on YouTube or Wikipedia, someone. You can, and shout out the age to me. Alexander Dowie. Okay, Dowie. Then he fought with there was always fights in churches, and he fought with another lady called Woodward Etter. Am I correct? Maria Woodward Etter. Okay, and there was these prophetic wars going on. You know, you have that kind of thing happening in church. And so, I mean, she didn't last either. Then there was another guy, when Cobus van Rensburg, Alexander Dowie, 60. Zion City, the greatest Pentecostal healer in the world, didn't make it to 61. Crazy, no? Okay? And but people were getting healed wholesale. Miracles, signs, I mean, cancer has been healed, you know? But he couldn't make it himself. Okay? There was interest. Guys, I'm building your inheritance. Just understand. I'm talking about something that's very, very important. You will be mature and understand a few things. Okay? So then you look at, in the recent years, my mentor was a guy called Prophet Cobus van Rensburg, and Pastor Neil, so humbly, I'll tell you a few things I couldn't say during the service. Pastor Neil is very protective. When I took the first lot from, we were all a group, and we took the first lot to I remember Pastor Neil had to come and interview the pastor. He interviewed the pastor because he's in Dubai. Okay, he interviewed the pastor, met him, did a full-on interview to see whether he can handle us. Okay? And he was right, he couldn't. Okay? But when he met Cobus, Pastor Neil submitted to Cobus and said, this guy is a real prophet, I'm going to submit to him. And Cobus, at that point, had a war going on with another guy called T.B. Joshua. How many of you heard of T.B. Joshua? Come on, raise your hands if you heard of T.B. Joshua. Okay, T.B. Joshua, let me tell you about a story. Like, these are cool stories, okay? These stories, these are insights when you sit with these guys, you get these stories, okay? Without sitting with these guys, you don't get these stories, okay? But, so, Cobus told me the story. TB Joshua, I'm just giving you a bit of history for you to understand what is going on and how to receive a season and what it is to be a believer and what it is to understand about church. Church is a very, very mystical thing, okay? So TB Joshua's healings, you can see it online even right now, just crazy healings. Kobus the same. And TB Joshua, in his prayer time, he would take his shoes off. TB Joshua was a proper legalist, okay? Kobus was a proper Gracie. Two polarities and extremes on both sides. One grace, one law. Hardcore law, one grace. And then TB Joshua, in his time of prayer, okay? TB Joshua is the type of guy, one of my friends went to see him, and he'll say, come and take a seat. You sit, TB Joshua sits, and then he'll shout at someone, close the door. Like this. And there's no one there. He'll look like this, and the door closes. Shh. That's TB Joshua, right? Okay, so you understand. Yeah? So, these guys are something else, right? And so TB Joshua will be sitting there praying, and the Lord says there'll be a man coming, and he's going to they leave their shoes outside. When he comes in, he's going to wear your shoes. Okay, he will make a mistake, he won't know. And you wear your shoes and you go out, and when that man wears his shoes and goes out, that is your prophet. That is your prophet. Now this is, you get it, he's like, what are you talking about, Lord? You and I are buddies, I'm the best in the business and all this, okay? And while in the prayer chamber, Kobus van Rensburg decides to, now no one knows him so well, okay? He's just starting his channel and all that. Kobus van Rensburg comes in, goes into TB Joshua's room. He doesn't know anything like this. But Kobus said this. He said, I looked, and the Lord said, this is the prophet's shoes. Yeah. And Kobus said, and he said, I thought, now Kobus is thinking, oh man, anointed shoes. Look at the honor, right? Yeah. These are the anointed shoes. I'll get an anointing if I step into the shoes. Yeah. And so he steps into the shoes like this. And he starts walking around. He said, I was walking around in the shoes because he's thinking that when he walks around in the shoes, that he's going to get the anointing from TB Joshua. Okay? TB Joshua turns around after he sees this guy walking in shoes, and he says, oh my God, this is the guy. He walks up to him and says, and he was humble enough to say, the Lord told me this, okay? You are a prophet to me. And they became best friends. Okay? Grace and law. Best friends for a very short time. Even God couldn't do it. Even God couldn't do it. And then they went to war. Okay? And they both grew rapidly, massive. Okay? In Africa. Okay? And they both, at least one cursed the other one, walked on his pictures every single day. Okay? I won't tell you which one did that. Walked on his pictures every single day. The other one said, I have grace, Jesus loves me. Now, this stuff is not going to affect me. That guy died first. He didn't know to protect himself. And the one who sowed that died 2 years later. Okay? So why am I saying this stuff? Because, you see, men of God, these anointed, powerful healers, miracle workers, don't last. Okay? Including my father, a miracle worker. The guy who planted a tree that was no roots and asked God for a sign before he went into Dubai. He planted it, he took a stick from the ground and said, Lord, if I'm supposed to plant a church in Dubai, okay, the first charismatic church in Dubai, the Gulf News says it now, okay? There's a tremendous tribute. Plants a stick in the sand, in the sand, and says, Lord, let this stick grow roots and leaves if I'm supposed to go in Dubai. Okay, because Dubai is a desert. And that means a sign that I will grow in the desert. You got it? And as he plants this thing, okay, the next day it comes, there's leaves and there's roots. Okay? And that was his sign to go. And after that, God did amazing things to him. He set up a first church. He grew to about 1,000 people. And due to something, he left the church. But I just want you to understand, miracle workers didn't last. Okay? His daughters are in the house. I honor you guys. You're my family. Okay? And I want to be sensitive to the family. I want to be sensitive to me. I want to be sensitive to you. These are some of his children here. Some of these guys here, I'm not fathered. They were fathered by Neil. Okay? Actually, this row, they know Neil very well. But I want to give you some health and some thoughts. Okay? That you as a new generation, will be able to have a capacity and a palate for. And also, maybe, if we get it right, last a little longer. Is that okay? Yeah? Is that okay? All right? Yeah? So, I want your energy, and I want your yes, and I want your amen, okay? And I want your shouts, and I promise you, if you get this, there is going to be a peace that is going to come upon you. There is going to be a glory that's going to come upon you. And I'll tell you something, that God says this, that He will give you the years. He'll give you the years back that the cankerworm has eaten. Now think about it for one moment. That means there are aspects that are stolen away in terms of days and years. Okay? And as they're taken away, He says that there's a generation that will come that He's going to give you the years that has been robbed away. You understand that? If you have lost your parents, your friends, your mother, your father, okay? If you lost the people who cared for you, who was there for you, you see, and if you feel in any way or form it was taken away before time, let's put it like that. The Bible says that He will give you the years. The years. He will give you the years that the cankerworm has eaten. Think about that. Think about that for one moment. Because that is a promise in the Bible. And we don't really understand it. We read it. We say, oh, and we speak it. We say, oh, God is giving us the years that the cankerworm has eaten. But when the cankerworm has eaten something, unless the person is raised from dead, he can't get back the years. Neil can't get back the years that was lost. Do you just get that? Because the cankerworm has eaten it. You get it? But you can. That's really in the Bible, huh? And I want to show you something. That is what it means to do church. Okay? Now, church, when I say church, it's not a building. The church is the body of Christ, which you are. Because to remind you again and again and again, He says, break the building down, and I will raise up my body, which is you. Okay? And each one of you become the body of Christ. Okay? Now, so I want to put that aside so that you know that that's when I say the body, I'm not talking about a building. But now I'm going to talk about the building because it's representative, or it's a symbol of you. Is that okay? Can we go there? Okay. So just understand this just very, very simply. Ezra, Nehemiah, the books like that, if you look at Ezra, Nehemiah, they're all building books. Those are books that are to do with building the temple. The Jews are like addicted to building temples. Okay, they call it temple. Okay, for the sake of this nation, let's call it synagogue, because I don't want people to misunderstand. Okay, so there were no synagogues at that time, but it's just because we're sensitive. Okay, now you see, so when they were building their synagogue, Nehemiah, Ezra is all about building the synagogue. Now, just understand that 3-4 books in the Bible, Chronicles, you name it, all about building the synagogue. It is a pivotal aspect of the Jewish life. It is a pivotal aspect of a life that is surrounded by God, and that a life that you are committed to. So there is no difference between from the Jew to now you a Christian. You surround yourself with this one aspect. We're going to build the synagogue. Do you understand that? Now, but yes, give it, that deserves a big shout and a clap. Okay? My life, Kirby de Lanerolle. My name is Kirby. It means brought from the churchyard. You understand that? That means it's a part of that. I'm a part of the structure. You are called, every single person, whether you are, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or not. But believe me, you're called for a community. Let's take the Christian aspect out and just say it like this. That you're called to a certain community that you have to give your life, your heart, your soul to. And that's what brings meaning in your life. We as Christians call that the church. Do you understand that? But you don't have to be a Christian. You can say yes to Jesus and not be a Christian. I know people who say yes to Jesus, believe in Jesus as their Lord and Savior, but they're not Christians. Okay? So that we're not discussing a religion here. But I'm giving you the understanding of Jesus Christ, and if you said yes to him, he becomes something called a cornerstone. You understand that? That means he's the foundation, he's the cornerstone, and the Bible talks about this really nicely because he says he becomes the cornerstone. Now you understand, if you're a construction guy or an architect or something like that, the cornerstone in those days, I think, I'm not sure, but I think that's where it all starts from, and it's where the pillar comes from, the cornerstone. And then the Bible says that you are living stones coming together on this cornerstone. It's the place where the pillar is held up. And then it says that there are 12 apostles, and these 12 apostles, each one has to die. People don't get it. I was on the cruise, and I was talking to Kathy Hampton, and I was telling her about this stuff, and she said, Kirby, are you going to teach this stuff? I said, no, I'm not going to teach this stuff. I said, because this stuff is too deep and mystical and stuff like that. I won't teach it. And so I'm not going to teach the whole thing, but I'm going to give a little bit of it. But you must understand, I can go on this teaching, I can go on for about 5 months. Just understand. So I'm just giving you a small, teeny, weeny peek into what causes me to tick. Okay? And I pray that your eyes will open. That the eyes of your understanding will open, that you will know the hope of your calling and the riches of the inheritance in the saints. The inheritance here. Okay? But when you come here, what you think is that you are coming as a personality in the flesh. What you don't know is that there are other elements here that are unseen. I'm just going to take it from Hebrews, and I'm going to show you that, okay, in Hebrews, so that you're very clear about this. Hebrews, just turning to Hebrews and Hebrews 11. Are you guys okay? Yeah. Can we go into the word a bit today? Yeah? Okay, it's a Sunday and we need to get to the word, okay? Now watch this, okay? I'm going to try my best not to be too deep on this, okay? But I need you to get this. Hebrews 11, okay? Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 is Hebrews 11, 12 are beautiful, beautiful scriptures. I pray that you'll go home and just read it. This is my new inheritance. This is Pastor Neil's Bible. Yeah. Isn't it cool? Yeah, come on. Yeah. Remember he said that he started reading the ESV? Yeah. Well, he left it behind. Okay, so here it is, okay? Chapter 11. And what an inheritance to have the word, huh? So, we go chapter 11, chapter 12, okay? I'm going to show you a few things, okay? You all know that 12 is after 11, right? So just keep that in mind. I'm going to go reverse, okay? Because 11 is very important. But I'm going to show you how 12 ends. Because 12 ends after explaining 11. Okay? 11 is an unbelievable chapter. If you never read 11, Hebrews 11, you are missing life. I promise you. In this Hebrews 11, you understand the inheritance that you're standing on. In Hebrews 11, as a believer of Jesus, you realize, oh boy, what a heritage I have. You understand it? Everyone comes from a lineage. You understand? My lineage, my natural lineage is unbelievable. Let's put it like that. It's unbelievable. Okay? But my spiritual lineage is, I'll tell you, amazing. Yeah. Even if you take my spiritual lineage from Neil, from Kobos, to where it goes down the line, you'll get, you'll hit this guy. What's his? Raise the guy knows. Who's the plumber who became? You hit Smith Wigglesworth. If you go down from Kobos, okay. But if you pass that and you go back and back and back and back, you get to Hebrews 11. You get to Hebrews what? 11. The lineage is by faith. Your flesh and blood is through your bloodline. The bloodline passes certain things down that you find it hard to shake, isn't it? Like diabetes and cholesterol. Those are all bloodline lineages. There are good things also. Okay, but there's also bad things from your bloodline lineages. How you shake the bloodline lineages is through the spiritual lineage. Till you have a spiritual lineage and you say, by faith, I take the lineage of Christ and take a spiritual family, your bloodline lineage will prevail. And the karma of it as well. You just get it? So why we say, by faith we take that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob is our fathers is because by faith we are saying Christians are strange creatures. Today we're not having communion, but they're strange creatures. They come and drink blood. You didn't think of it like that, right? Till I told you? But when you realize, you're like, what are you guys doing? All nicely dressed up in Q-Tex and all, like, paper on your hair. All right. You're looking so nice and really sophisticated. But what are you doing? Then you realize what is going on. It's the lineage, it's blood. It's a natural sign that the bloodline can be shifted. Now, I don't want to go too much deep into this stuff, okay? But listen carefully, okay? I'm going to go here, okay? Remember, it starts off with, chapter 12 starts off with, therefore. Therefore means because of what 11 said. Is that okay? Yeah. Because of what 11 said. We are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. That means everything and every name that is spoken in chapter 11, therefore, we are surrounded by these guys. We got a cloud of what he calls witnesses. And witnesses means people who can commend you, recommend, who can actually give you a true witness to what really happened when you have faith in God. Because 11, I'm going to take you to 11, I'm just setting you up for 11. 11 is going to talk about a lineage of people that today, church, you can take by faith. Come on. The Spirit works by faith. The only thing you can do in the Spirit, if someone tells me, do something in the Spirit, and you go, you're going to do that, that's not in the Spirit still. It might get you to the Spirit. But the only thing you can do in the Spirit is faith. By faith, you take a lineage, a line, okay? Now watch this. Here we are, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, listen carefully, let us also lay aside every weight, because we are surrounded by these witnesses. Okay, now I just want you to just take, if you have a Bible, you turn it like this, or if you have a phone, just get to 11 and see the list there. Okay, there are 39 verses of the therefore, okay, of these witnesses. So that you can lay aside every weight. Say, I'm laying aside every weight. Everything that's trying to block you, you lay it aside. Why? Man, come on. You're blocked to your business. You're blocked to your family life. Your weight. In your, whatever, your body. It's therefore. What does it mean to be a believer? It's to take this lineage by faith. When you say yes to Jesus, it's not just saying yes to Jesus, you're saying yes to all these guys. The 12 apostles who were slaughtered by choice. Peter who said, I don't want to be crucified upright. It's a shame for me to be crucified upright. If you're going to kill me, crucify me upside down. You take that lineage. Do you understand that? When you say yes to Jesus, you take a lineage. A lineage that it goes beyond your fathers and your mothers. It doesn't matter how good it is. And if you don't come from a good lineage, who cares? Because this one is amazing. I'm going to read it to you. Are you ready? Yes. But therefore, you throw away every weight. Is it there? Because we are surrounded by these guys now. Neil Obesekera is now a part of the cloud. You understand that? So again, I'm going to say this again. Therefore, every weight will go away. Now watch this. Listen carefully. Every weight, it goes away. We set aside every weight. Every sin which clings closely, is it there? Every problem, everything, I honestly, I don't understand. I don't personally understand the problem with temptation. I've not understood it for about 15 years of my life. After I said yes to Jesus, testing, temptation, It's not an aspect to me. You understand that? Because nothing indulges me more than me coming here, being on fire for you, living for God, and doing the things for God. Let me tell you, we live, we breathe, and we move for Him. If we're going to live, we live for Him. Otherwise, why do we need to live? Purpose is so important. You see, Nehemiah, Ezra, all those books, like I said, is about building the church. So, or building the synagogue, if you want to call it. Then the Romans took it. The Romans did the same. Why Rome became so powerful at that point was the Romans took it at that time, and they had these massive cathedrals, and they would have a dome on this cathedral, and then they will look at that dome, and they'll never finish it. It was always not finished. In every township, not finished. Why will they not finish it? Just like the Jews. They'll know that when people wake up in the morning and they've just done that deal and made that money, or they've just got raised up, and then they come out of the balcony and look out, they see unfinished construction. They never finished it. If they finish one, they start another one. You'll always see the construction alive. The temple, the Jews, they're the best. They know how to keep people anchored to remind them every single day what they live for. You understand that? And so the temple is never finished. Once they build one, they build another one. Because that's what anchors you to your purpose. The day you choose not to have a purpose, then God, in His kindness, will call you. Neil came. He was like the Mount of Nebo. I said, Pastor, because I wanted to anchor him down. If anyone says, Pastor Neil passed, how did he pass? Sorry, girls. I say, if there's anything, if there's any place that a human being, if there's any sense that you can love someone too much, that's exactly what happened. Okay? If there's a sense of that, I don't know, can you love someone too much? I'm not sure. Okay? Can you love someone too much? Okay? But that's exactly what happened. Because I showed him the construction. I said, Pastor, the unfinished construction. You got America, you're going to be the apostle there, I'm going to submit to you. Here's the school, let's do the school. All this. And I remember when he went back to the room, he chose love over staying here. I'm a difficult guy to work with. I understand. I completely understand. You see? Because I'll tell you one thing is there's a choice, like I said before. Now, and so I don't believe that Pastor Neil died like that. I believe that he chose a heavenly abode that was truly worthy of who he is. Just like Dowie, just like Cobus, just like the rest. Why do people of God go early? Because God calls them. They've done a fabulous work. Honestly, the foundations that were laid for me to stand on is so rock solid, it's unshakable. Do you understand that? The foundation that have been laid for you is so rock solid, it is unshakable. We've had good foundations laid, my friend. Now, we finish the construction. Do you just get what I'm just trying to explain to you guys? Okay? Because at some point, men of God tire. They get worn out. They're constantly pushing against something. Cobus had to fight immortality. When he started preaching immortality, the pendulum swung like this all the way onto the other side. And people asked me the question like, Cobus preached immortality so much. Like every sermon was immortality. Okay? Now immortality is in the Bible. But it doesn't have to be preached so much. But why did he preach it so much? Because there was so much of resistance. So much of resistance from the church itself. So he preached it and he said, do you know that you're supposed to live long? You're supposed to have a long life. Do you understand? An immortal God has come and given you life. So why are we dying away early? Okay? And then the church came against it. They had to fight it and fight it and fight it and fight it. And the more he fought, the pendulum swung all the way to the end. Do you understand that? This is a deep word. You see? And you push, okay? And you get wear and tear, okay? Because he's pushing against something, all right? And then at one point, he's like, I think I've done a good job. I can see Kirby. I can see a couple of young guys. They're taking this, you see? Like, I think that my work is, I push hard and strong. You understand that? And we suddenly got it. And now we preach it. But we don't have to preach it with the fervor that he had. Because he's already done the work. Thank God that I didn't have to pioneer that and preach that and get that heat. Pastor Neil preached grace. Pastor Neil preached grace in such a wonderful, beautiful way. It was so unbelievable that his grace, that he preached the pureness of what grace is, which is in the Bible. Okay? The grace that he preached was so awesome that it disintegrated every institutionalized religious order. That's why I sent him off in the way I did. Because he would have hated if he had to choose what I did for him yesterday. He would have said, son, are you crazy? I don't want to be sent off as a bishop. Send me off as a simple, humble pastor. This is how I served you. Okay? But he would have done it for someone else. He would have given the same honor to someone else. He wouldn't want it for himself. He preached grace in such a way that it disintegrated every institutionalized religious order. That's how he preached grace. So much so that his whole church disintegrated. Okay? He never wanted to put commands and demands on people, come on time. Okay? He would never put the commands that I put on you. Okay? He will protect you from me. Right? Okay? Because he was like, son, you can't put people into performance. Because he knows what type of guy I am. You see? And so much so that he himself passed by preaching the gospel that was so pure. I'm trying to show you something. Okay? So the pendulum swung. It's coming back. It's coming back. So I'm not my father. I'm me. But I'm mature and I've learned. You understand that? I'm mature and I've learned. And I'm building on the foundations of grace that he has established, the foundations of life the Prophet Kirby has established. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us now run, leaving all the weights. You understand that? And let's now build, because we got a race to run with endurance, the race that is set before us. Say, I'm going to run with endurance, the race that is set before us. There are people who are pushed to the limit, to every little bit of what they had to bring the doctrines that you stand on today so easily, my friends. When I brought grace to this country, not one person was preaching it. They thought I was a heretic. They thought he was a heretic a long time ago. Not one person was preaching it. Now today everyone is saying grace. They have no clue about the learning curve. You have a heritage and a foundation of grace. We've gone through the learning curve that others are just going through now. Come on. Do you understand that? And so we build strong on these foundations. Now listen carefully. I'm going to take you, before I get to chapter 11, I'm just going to take you very fast to 2 Timothy 4. I did this yesterday. 2 Timothy 4. Are you guys okay? Yeah. 2 Timothy 4. Listen carefully, okay? So now you remember he said, Paul is writing, therefore we're surrounded, chapter 11, by such a great cloud of witnesses. So let's run this race with endurance. You see? Because why? They've gone. They've done. They've established. They've founded. We're standing on them. Now let's run, okay? So now Paul again is about to finish the race. And this is what he's saying. Listen carefully. Verse 5. As for you, always be sober-minded. Endure suffering. Do the work of an evangelist. That's why initially, great job. Okay? Always do the work of an evangelist. Fulfill your ministry. Is it there? Fulfill your ministry. That's what you're called for. It is the construction of the temple. That's what you're called for. Then he says this, verse 6. For I am already been poured out as a drink offering. So his life is taken and he's now been poured out upon the others as a drink offering. Isn't that cool? So Paul is saying that when you go, all these guys in chapter 11, the cloud of witnesses, their life is poured out on you. It's your heritage, it's your inheritance. It's like if you have a natural father, a natural grandfather, a natural great-grandfather, their heritage is yours, right? Now Paul is saying, as an apostolic figure, I'm about to go, but I want you to know what's going to happen when I go. I'm going to pour out my life on you. Do you just understand that? All the work, all the hardship, all the pain, all the suffering, all that I had to go through to establish those things, I'm going to pour it out now. Because now, you know, the best thing in life is experience, right? If you have experience, you got it done. But if you have someone else's experience, you learn. You understand that? So you're just about to get a dose of the experience of the apostolic. The one who founded this church. Do you understand that? You're about to just there are people in this house who will suddenly realize their love for the church. They'll realize that the church is the solution for a nation. They'll realize the church is what we live for. When you realize that, it's what I was born for, it's what I live for. Something shifts, something changes. I can't tell you the love I have for the church. And there's something I can see it in people's eyes. I can also not see it in people's eyes. But you'll have the most random person. The most random person. Guys, I can't explain this. And I'm just inquiring from God what it is. And I think it has to do with inheritance. Okay? But the most random person, doesn't even go to church probably. But you meet him, and as an apostolic person, when I look in his eyes and I start talking to this guy, I can say, oh my God, this guy was like, he was created and made to be a part of a community, of a church. That's all that is breathing in him. All he can think of is how to bring glory to the church. Someone told me, yeah, but we give the poor. So Kirby, what you're doing now, we're bringing this and we give the poor. It's like, my friend, you give the poor in your name. Are you a rich guy here? Do you have a company here? I know you give the poor, but you give it in your name. Or your company name. Have you ever given it in the name of the church? You live for the church. You live to bring glory to the church. What an opportunity in this nation when the church is scandalized. When people accuse the church. When people think the church is a useless entity. When they think the church is a menace. What an opportunity for you to live for the church. To be a part of a community and say, you know what? I'm going to bring glory to this community because Christ is in this community and his name deserves to be glorified. So I don't want to know about your charity that you do at your work. I have money too, my friend. I could bring my charity and I can do it separate from you and not give one credit to you. I can set my name on a Facebook page as Kirby de Lanerolle Ministries. Karandar. Kirby de Lanerolle Ministries. And maybe Fiona can have a little small... No, I can. I don't have to be known as WOWLife. When I say WOWLife, I mean each one of you faces. When I say WOWLife, I say I have a community. When I say ADC, I say I have pastors. You think I'm interested in dealing with pastors and doing all this? I was born to bring glory to the church, so that Christ's name can be glorified, to bring dignity to the church. It's not about me. It's not Kirby de Lanerolle Ministries. I want WOW name to be known. I want WOW people to say WOW is useful for this nation. WOW is important for this nation. WOW can make a difference in this nation. We need WOW in this nation. I don't want to show miracle signs and wonders on there. I can do it more than most people. All those guys have learned from me. Believe me when I tell you. But that's not what I want to show. What I want to show is why the church is important for a nation. You understand that? And we have a great inheritance, a powerful inheritance, that glory can be brought to the church. Now listen carefully. And he ends up like this. So I'm already been poured out like a drink offering. Okay? Verse 7. I fought the good fight. You see there? Paul is saying, I fought the good fight. Come on. This is what Neil said. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. Do you see? Hebrews says, let's run with endurance. Okay? One day, could you say those words? Could you say those words? Honestly, I bury my father, trust me, without any regret. Without any regret. I did the best I could do with a difficult character. Okay. I'm also a bit of a difficult guy. So I did the best I can in the time I had. And I can tell you one thing. His life is worthy of every minute. Okay? He can say, I ran the race well. I have son. Honestly, if he saw everything, and then he went and put his speakers on, and he said, son, it's going to be hard for me to go without Savi. Honestly, if I had one moment more, I'd say, sir, you finished well. You finished fabulously well. We don't need one moment more, please. All the guys who are greedy for life. All the guys who are greedy for life. You don't need one moment more to live. You make a guy like me. You don't need one moment more. You've done your job. I will make you proud. I'll live my life worthy of every moment you breathe. I'll live my life worthy of every message you preached. I'll breathe, live, and die for the church that he built. You see, this should be the statement that we all should have. Whether you want 90 years, 70 years, 80 years, 60 years. This is what we need to be able to say. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. I've kept the faith. I've kept the faith. Don't get distracted, my friends. All the things that tempt you, been there, done that. Okay? I don't get distracted. I'm very focused. All the things that you've gone through, I've gone through. Maybe a little more as well. We keep the faith. We keep our work. We keep our focus. We've got a work to do in this country. What an amazing opportunity in Sri Lanka, in this country, to be able to represent Jesus. And the ones who represented Jesus so well, like Pastor Neil. I was so happy to see the Sangha come and sit there. I was so happy. In what charismatic Pentecostal church do you get the Buddhist priest who will come and honor and sit? Think about it in this country. Today when the church is persecuted, as a menace, you have the Buddhist priest come and sit. My friend, who I honor and respect, they come and sit because WOWLife Church, we are different. We are meant for this nation. We can do something. We can bring glory to the ones who are above us. Neil had no judgment. He's the one who taught me all that. He's the one who taught me to honor religion. Because my God, just imagine if I submitted to some ridiculous father. Just imagine what you will be getting here. You'll be getting hate, my friend. You'll be getting judgment, my friend. That goes on Sunday mornings. I have 600 Pentecostal churches. I know what I'm talking about. We preach reconciliation. We preach love. We preach no judgment. You understand that? And we can become an effective machine to really bring glory to Jesus Christ. You understand that? And where people say, this is the church, it serves us. It serves us. It washes our feet. It serves us. You got it? Did you get it? Okay, Hebrews 11 is close, okay. Hebrews 11. You and I, look, guys, I'll tell you. If I want to start a big church, okay, it's a click of my fingers, guys. If I want to get Pentecostal charismatics into this camp, okay, who have no clue, okay, who are judgmental, if I want to bring them through my doors, if I have a prayer line here like this, I will prophesy over each one of them in detail. Do you know that? That's why when Asha and Natasha and all of them some go a bit here and there, suddenly you see me, okay, stop, give me a minute, and then I start. Have you seen that? Yeah. That is on the cuff. Names, places, all that. To bring the charismatic Pentecostals in, that's what you need. Okay? Healings, you'll have healings, miracles, signs and wonders constantly. To bring the charismatic Pentecostals in, that's what you need. But will that just touch a nation? Come on. You understand? I'll have a big church. I don't want to build a mature congregation. I'm building very carefully, very strategically, to build a congregation that is strong, mature, that can actually represent who Christ is to this nation. Yeah. And I've spent time on this. Neil and I have spoken immensely about that, about how we do it. And we've done it very, very carefully, structured it, crafted it. Doctrines that will change your life. But now it's time. Now it's time. The bilingual service, I wanted to have it on the 16th, but we'll have it in August. Okay, first week in August, we're going to have a bilingual service. Okay, because I want to have enough projects coming in. Already the projects are coming in. So that you guys can have something to show when you have the bilingual service. Things that you all have done. Impacts that you made. And that's important that people see that. Don't worry, all the charismania we have. All the miracles we have. Those are also there. But we need to represent ourselves well. Hebrews 11. And we'll end with this. I want you, we as believers, believe in a cloud of witnesses. A cloud of witnesses. Therefore, since you're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. Can I have the band up? It's good to have a bit of ambience on this. Are you ready for this? Yeah. This is what I've been talking about. Come on, you. Hold on to the horses. Some of you had a late night. Hold on. Okay? Watch this. It's important to understand your heritage. Don't go or leave this church without you understanding your heritage. Okay? This is what we take in faith. This is what we take in faith. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a lot of it. Okay? So get ready. But it's beautiful to read it. Let's start from the beginning. Remember the therefore in 12? It's talking about this. Okay? Therefore. Okay? Since we are surrounded, go to Hebrews 11. Go to Hebrews 11. So that's Hebrews 12. So good that you saw the therefore before. Okay? Now this is what they were talking about therefore. We're surrounded by this cloud. Remember that Jesus, when he was taken up, remember he said there was a cloud that came in. Remember that story? And he didn't say angels came out of the cloud. It says men came out of the cloud. He didn't say angels came out. It says men came out of the cloud. That's what it says. The cloud came down. Okay? Very interesting. And this cloud is a really interesting cloud. If you remember the time when Jesus went up the Mount of Transfiguration. Remember a cloud came there? Who was in the cloud? Men. There were who? There was Moses. And there was Elijah in the cloud of men. This is an amazing thing when you are a believer. You need to believe in this. That these guys are surrounding us. Men in the cloud. Men who had gone. Now, there are different philosophies. And people believe in different things. But if you're a believer of Jesus Christ, I want you to know that this is your inheritance. This cloud. I'm going to show you. You can choose your bloodline. You were born to your mother and father. By faith, we can choose our spiritual line. I'm giving you this inheritance. Please read it and spend time reading about these people. It's quite awesome. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for. This is how it starts. The conviction of things not seen. That means faith is what you can't see. It's already saying that, right? For by the people of old, your lineage, okay, they received a good testimony, and that's what the King James says, the commendation. They received a testimony. That means their lives testified that they live for God. Their lives testified that they live for God. The Gulf News screams it out despite all the naysayers. The first charismatic church in Dubai. The world testifies of these people. The people of faith. By faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God. Everything is created by the word. So that what is seen is not made of what is visible. Again, by faith, Abel offered to God a more acceptable offering than Cain. Okay? Through which he was commended as righteous. God commending him by accepting his gift. And through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. By faith, this guy is really cool. Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death. And he was not found because God had taken him. What an amazing story he has. He walked with God and he was not, it says. That means he had a conversation and suddenly he was taken. He didn't even die. That's in your line. That's in your line. That there was a guy in your lineage. I talk of my 500 years ago when Kirby de Lanerolle came to Sri Lanka. Okay, he was cousin to Louis the 14th or 16th. When he came to Sri Lanka and he landed here, I testify. Oh my God, this is my bloodline. I have my coat of arms at home. I show my book. I keep it on make sure that everyone can see it. It's on my coffee table. Okay? They need to know my bloodline. Yeah. Huh? Nothing wrong in that. But look at this one. Look at this one. Nothing like Kirby de Lanerolle. Okay? This guy, not Marquis. There's a difference. Okay? This guy walked with God and he was not. He was taken. What an amazing thing in your bloodline that you have that inheritance. Come on, man. Do you understand what I'm trying to talk about? By faith we know it is impossible to please God. Is it there? By faith, Noah, verse 7, being warned by God concerning events yet unseen, in reverent fear constructed an ark for the saving of the household. Verse 8, by faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive an inheritance. Is it there? And he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents. What is that verse? What is that verse? 9. Are you ready for this? Here we go. Verse 9. By faith, he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, yes, who had the same promise. Verse 10. For he was looking for a city that the foundations, the designer, and the builder was God. Verse 11. By faith, Sarah herself received power to conceive. Guys, this lady Sarah is in your line. Ladies, come on. This is a woman who conceived. By faith, Sarah conceived, even when she was past her age. Come on. Anyone looking for babies? No, I'm just trying to say, if you want an abundance of strength, okay, I don't need any more brothers. Okay. Therefore, okay, just understand that she conceived. She conceived even in her old age. Abraham was 100. That means in your bloodline are people who had strength beyond the natural age. There are people who left early, but there's also people who left very late. Do you just get that? That is also in your lineage. Is it there? By faith, Sarah herself received power to conceive, even when she was past age, since she considered him faithful who had promised. Verse 12. Therefore, from one man, and him as good as dead, that means that he was 100 years old, were born descendants as many as the stars of heaven, as many as innumerable grains of sand by the seashore. This is, we are talking of Abraham and the Jewish nation. These all died in faith. Come on, say it with me. These all what? They all died in faith, not having received the things promised, but have seen them and greeted them from far off. Come on, did you just see it? Neil saw what was promised to you. He might not have received the promise, but he saw it. He saw your inheritance. You see, they all died in faith, not having received the promise. Is it there? When Dawi made Zion City and did all the Pentecostal miracles and saw the healings and saw the healings and the miracles and all that, he saw you. And he said, I'm going to start something that others are going to inherit. That's what real fathers do. Having seen them and greeted them far off, and having acknowledged that they were strangers and exiles on the earth. Is it there? And he goes on and on and on till I want to get to this place. Please read it at home. Verse 32. By faith, verse 30. No, verse 29, okay. By faith, this is such a great chapter, I can't decide where. But verse 29. By faith, with everything by faith, by faith, by faith, by faith, by faith, by faith. Do you just see there? I want to see verse 15, by faith. Verse 16, by faith. Verse 24, by faith. Moses. You see there? Verse 25, by faith. Verse 27, by faith, he left Egypt. What are you doing by faith? By faith, I came here today. This is going to be the greatest day of my life. By faith, I received a promise that is the outpouring that is upon my life right now. Lift your hands up right now. By faith, I lift my hands up knowing that there's outpouring now. Because I've not come to something that is touchable, seeable. It's by faith, I take it. By faith, I celebrated Nilo Besekara. By faith, I celebrated Kobus. By faith, I take what is poured out. It's done by faith, man, the inheritance. So let me ask you one question. What is given in every generation of this? Every generation receives something, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of miracles, of signs, of wonders, of people. The Israel nation is there. That guy Abraham, he says, he believed by faith. He left a land from Sumeria. And today Israel is one of the greatest nations on the earth. So small. But has everything. Because that one guy had faith. But he saw it. That's right there. That becomes your promise. I'm trying to show you something. What is being passed down every sentence? One generation passes, what gets passed down? Faith. And we say, oh, the Spirit is being passed down. Yes, it's the Spirit being passed down, my ladies and gentlemen. It's the faith of our forefathers. It's the faith of our forefathers. And that faith to plant a tree and believe for roots. I have got that faith today. I've got that faith today. And in a wilderness, we will make sure that we build greater, bigger, because those are the foundations. Foundations mean there is no building. They become the foundations of our faith. And we will be the visible construction. The years that a cankerworm has eaten now is being given to us. If you see it and take it by faith, you can't take it by faith if you don't see it. And that's why I want to preach today. You got to see it, what church is built on. And here, we'll end with these couple of verses. 10 verses more, please. Bear with me. I'm quite a bit passionate today. Okay? And I want it to be like that. Come on, church. Okay, I want you to be a church that lives, breathes. You live, trust me, man, you live for God. Your life is worth it. You'll never be ashamed if someone passes at 69. You missed me. You'll never be ashamed. You'll be more courageous. Some people try to ask questions. You're asking questions? How did Savi pass? How did he pass? Oh, is everything okay? Do you have any clue of what it means to be a believer of Christ? Do you have the depth, the knowledge, the vastness of what is being passed down? Do you understand what happens in a Christian's life? Do you know what happens when someone goes? For us, there is no separation. In fact, it's passed down as an inheritance to the sons to be strong. And if you saw something missing, trust me then, it ain't given to us now. Trust me. Trust me. Verse 32. What more shall I say? I like that one. What more shall I say? Come on, say it. What more shall I say? He said he can talk about all these guys. He says, for time would fail me to tell you of Gideon, of Barak, of Samson, of Jephthah, of David, of Samuel, and of all other prophets. He said, time would fail me if I go and tell you the stories of faith, the inheritance that we have through faith from different people. Time will fail us. That's what he says. Who through faith conquered kingdoms. Listen carefully. This is your inheritance, church. Come on. Come on. This is your promise, church. Through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong out of weakness, became mighty in war. put to flight foreign armies. Women received back their dead by resurrection. So that was there. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release, so that they might rise again to a better life another day. That's all there. It's all there. Don't worry. People went at 40, 20, 30, 60, 100, 120, had babies at 100. Don't worry. It's all there. They got killed and they killed us. It's all there. It's all there. We don't question this. These are rights, our inheritance. We're believers. Others suffered mocking, verse 36, and floggings, and even chains and imprisonment. The most persecuted religion in the world, Christianity. That's how it grew. It grew when we were persecuted and crushed. They were stoned. They were sawn in two. Is it there? No one questioned that. No one questioned, oh, how are these guys sawn in two? Why did they get sawn in two? Couldn't God protect them? Don't worry about it. You have no idea what happens when someone is sawn in two. You have no idea when they burnt the Christians as Roman candles, when they persecuted the church and the church grew. You have no idea when the Roman candle, what they look like when they were burnt there, 12, 13, 14 years of age. Is God not there for them? Is God not looking at them? God is there, my friend, right in the midst of the burning, right in the midst of the fire. God is right there, passing it on to you. If you're alive, be happy. If you're one that has survived, be happy. If you've not died of cancer, heart disease, sickness, disease, death, trauma, whatever it is, be happy. Because there's something coming to you. And that's this word. This is what we believe. This is the promise. So we don't look at death as a scandal, my friend. We look at death as something awesome that happens. Because if you're alive, it means that God is looking to us to give us what has been taken away. Do you just get it? They suffered mockings and floggings, even chains and imprisonments. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, they were killed with the sword. They went about in skins of sheep, goats, destitute, afflicted, mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering about in deserts and mountains, the dens and caves of the earth. Is it there? Last bit. And all these, though commend, I like this word, commend. And all these, though commended to their faith, did not receive what was promised. They did not receive. They suffered, they did not receive. Neil suffered, he did not receive. Kobe suffered, he did not receive. Verse 40, listen carefully. Saints and Church of God. Since God, read this out with me. Since God had provided something better for, come on, shout it out, for us, that apart from us, they should not be made perfect. You just see that? That means when Kobus and TB Joshua went to war and they couldn't figure it out, being holy men of God, and they fought with each other, they passed. And you know what? They both has released now an inheritance for me. And what they couldn't perfect is now perfected in my life and in your life. If someone has passed, that you believe passed too, they couldn't make it. You thought their life was cut out. Man, let me tell you, what they wanted to perfect, it is now perfected through you. Believe me, when people go, I can tell you, or you can tell you this. I've seen when people leave, everything changes. Everything changes because now they've got wings. And they make sure that what they couldn't finish, and I know what Neil couldn't finish. I know what Neil couldn't finish. It's going to be perfected in you. It's going to be perfected in me. It's going to be perfected in you, church. There is no scandal to us. That is a passing of the inheritance to his people. We are believers of who Jesus is. Do you get that? We'll end with this. And I'm going to pray over you. We have taken a long time and you've been very, very patient this morning. Chapter 12. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you just see now what that means, that word therefore. If you just read 12, you don't understand the power of that word therefore. Because you read it by faith, by faith, by faith, by faith. Therefore, since we are, come on man, surrounded by such a great cloud of true witnesses who saw God's glory, witnesses and experiences, let us lay aside every weight, every sin that clings so closely, Let's run with endurance the race that is set before us. Looking to Jesus, the founder, you see the foundation, and the perfecter of what? Of faith. Of your faith, my friend. Now lift your hands up. I'm going to pray for you. If you're sick, 30s, come with me. If you come with me. If you're sick, I'd like to pray for you. But for the others, Father, in Jesus' name, there's a faith, a generation of faith, Lord. Generation after generation after generation of faith. Even if you were just a small believer that has come just in and you were a person who didn't know who Jesus was. And you say, how do I have faith? Don't worry about it. We've got a bucket load. We've got generations of faith that is waiting to give you that faith right now. Just take it right now. Yes, you can stand, you can shout, you can do whatever you want. Take it now, you need it. There's a generation of faith. From Samson to Jephthah to David to Abraham there's a generation of faith coming upon his people. For miracles, for signs, for wonders, for building cities, for building nations, for building, armies. There's a generation of faith. You don't have to do the work. People died to do the work for you so that you can be an inheritor. That every bit that a cankerworm has eaten, every life, every day, I pray over you, my friend, that your life will be extended. Come on, receive it. If you think Pastor Neil's life was cut out too early, then receive the rest. Receive the rest now. If you think Kobus' life was cut off too early, Dawi's life was cut off too early, receive it now into your body right now. God is giving you what they couldn't do. So that your life, that they are not perfected without you. So they are not perfected without you. Did you lose a brother or sister? Did you lose a friend too early? Come on, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend when I was like 15 years old. My best friend who would fight for me and die for me. I lost him when I was 15. Cousin. You understand that? It's given to me. Everything that had been robbed away is given to you, my friend. Don't look at the robbing as a scandal. It's a scandal for them, but it's a blessing to you. Church, right now, I declare protection over you. I declare a blessing over you. I declare that WOWLife Church, you will grow into everything that God has purposed for you. I declare that what was prophesied over Pastor Neil, over Kobus, over every single person who has touched this inheritance, that every single word will come to pass over you. If you're watching at me globally from WOWLife Church globally, I'm telling you right now, you're going to grow. I gave America to him. He didn't take it. I'm telling you, he's taken it from heaven. And we're going to grow. You got an apostle from the cloud. We're going to grow. We're going to move. And God is going to give us an inheritance in the USA and globally. WOWLife Church, you're on your way up. Because the cloud is on its way down. God bless you.